bump. All right, folks, we're back. And it is Friday. Glad to be back here in the studios again today. Folks, this is your host. Who? It's Radio Strongman, Kim Wade. Folks, I'm coming to you live from WYAB 1039 FM. And the reason why I'm coming to you live, because I'm in Florida, Mississippi, and not Jackson. The killing field, actually, murders down in Jackson. It's not for lack of intent or trying, but it is down almost by half. Hat tip to Chief Wade, since he's the man sitting in the catbird seat. He gets the blame, so he also gets the credit. It happened under his tenure, and it is down, and it is what it is. It's low, low, low. Is it low enough? No. But when you think about it, folks, this is a monumental task, solving the murder problem, because, again, you're dealing with Democrats. And do you realize all the problems that, well, first of all, it is Friday. We made it through another week. No small feat, I might add, because, you know, we live in an area that's dominated politically and demographically by who? Democrats. And here in Jackson, Mississippi, the city with so much crime, corruption, death, and destruction, we have the more virulent form of Democrat. We got the Democrat head, the melanated ones. That's right, folks, the ones who gonna screw it up. Kim, you so hard on black people. Whatever. Dude, I didn't make the track record. I've been handling my business. You know, I've been doing my part, but my efforts are being overshadowed by the likes of a donut head or snowball or here's the John's embarrassed. You see, he didn't call in yesterday after President Trump and Secretary of Defense smacked him down along with the CNN reporter on that bogus report about the bombing of the nuclear sites there in Iran. Folks, listen, let these people just crash and burn at this point here. They don't recognize the anointing that's on this man's life, and yet they're the spiritually attuned one according to them. And they're sitting right in the midst of God's handiwork being performed right before them. They see the Lord's angels setting up tables right in front of them. You see them lifting up Donald Trump's feet and laying them on the table right in front of them. And they still, that ain't God. That he ain't got the credentials for that. He ain't gone nowhere. He ain't been to seminary school. He don't know. Okay, well, he's qualified. It's just like them folks over there who many of y'all say those aren't the real Jews over there in Israel. Well, all I can say is there must be one or two of them over there because the Lord getting ready to show out. So he didn't say how many had to be over there for him to do what he has to do to lord over his word, did he? So I think you just jumped in there and you made the determination that these aren't the people or these aren't enough of them or whatever the case may be. I just think you're out of your league, you're out of your pay grade. You need to stay in your lane, but you ain't got to. You can do you. The results are going to be the same. God's word's going to be fulfilled. There's somebody over there on that land that he chose as his for whatever reason he may have chosen. May not have been to your liking, but I don't think, obviously, he didn't consult you. So that should give you some indication of what your opinion means. Now, my humble suggestion, fall in line. Folks, I think we have Miss Paula Bass on the line. We'll get back to the monologue after we talk to the lovely and gracious Paula Bass. Hey.
Hey, Mr. Wade, how are you?
How are you doing? The hardest working lady in nonprofits today. She's getting ready for tomorrow. What's happening on tomorrow?
Yeah, we are working hard. We're right now currently at the location where the event will take place, and we're setting things up and getting ready, and we wanted to reach out to your listeners and let them know if they have not RSVP'd or registered, they still have a chance to do it today. Call me before 8 p.m. to register, and they'll be on the list of youth that will, I'm so tired because I'm working hard, Mr. Wade.
That's
But
good.
they'll be on the list to receive priority and also the great free gift. But I need them to call me. Please call me and register. The phone number is 757 area code
Uh-huh.
667-0056. Call me and register your youth ages 12 through 25. And, of course, they can register themselves. But call me. We have transportation available. If you don't have transportation, call me and we can set that up. But I need to hear from you today before 8 p.m. so we can have a great time.
Well, now explain to the people the necessity for registering, okay? Explain to them because, there may be people just hearing about it for the first time and they have not registered, but they may think about it in the morning. They want to come anyway. Explain to them what's the purpose of registering.
So the purpose of registering, first of all, is we need to know how many we're going to have to show up so we can feed everybody. We don't want to run out of food. So we have one of our sponsors, Joe's Diner, is providing a great free lunch, and he is preparing for 60 people. And so we at least want to know that we have, enough, or we don't have too many kids that we don't have enough food. So that's one of the purposes. And also, we just want to allow for these youth to have an opportunity to come and hear how they can have successful careers, especially if they don't choose to go to a 4-year college. I mean, your career matters. Even if you don't go to college, there's so many wonderful opportunities to, get a trade, get a skill, and become a successful contributor to society. And we're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow doing just that.
All right. And the reason why I was... Go ahead.
Let me give the address one more time if they come. It's 485 West Northside Drive, Shekinah Glory Church, 485 West Northside Drive, Shekinah Glory Church in Jackson.
Okay. The reason why I was... go ahead.
Registration starts at 9:45 because we want to start at 10, be on time. We have a nice schedule that we'd like to, kind of stay close to so we can get them out on time. But if they can be here by 9:45 to start registration, that'll be great.
All right. If they wanted to come and just say, I don't care about lunch, I'm good on the lunch, can they still come? That was the point that I was trying to make. You don't want to not have people not come just because they won't have a lunch. You want them to come because you want them to participate, right?
Absolutely. Positively. I want them to come whether they eat or not. Mm-hmm. I just want them to come and receive the benefits for which this event was planned for them.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason I was emphasizing, because you don't want people not to, because, I may or may not register. I may be a last-minute type registrar, person who makes the decision, but you're putting forth all this effort, and I wanted to have the biggest impact as possible. So if you're not going to eat lunch, just come on down anyway. You can participate. Right. Yeah, that's the purpose of having to register, mainly, So just keep that in mind.
You said it perfectly, Mr. Wade. I appreciate that. That's it.
Right. Now, tell them again, what is the thrust of this? What are you trying to accomplish, and who are you targeting?
The purpose of this is to engage our young people in opportunities for trades that don't necessarily, or careers that do not necessarily require a college degree. We will have tomorrow as facilitators a chef. In fact, she was the permanent chef or the full-time chef for Wesley Snipes in Hollywood, and then some other celebrities in Hollywood. And she has a plethora of experiences in that area as a chef. We have a barber, a young man who rose up through the ranks after he was on the streets for a while. He's going to share his skill and how that's helped him to be successful. We have firefighters. We have 2 firefighters who will come and represent. We have someone from the military that's coming, a young lady who was in the military, and she's going to share her experience and how young people might want to do that. And we have an events planner and an art therapist. These people are going to really engage the young people talk to them, ask questions. And then, by the way, we're going to have gift assessments where they'll be able to take a little gift assessment that will ask them, what do you want to be when you grow up? What are your interests? Where are things, what's going on inside of you for your future? So we're going to talk to them. We're going to communicate and really engage the kids, have a great time together. And that's why we want them to come, so that they can have a different thinking or thought pattern about what they want to do when they, grow up.
Great. Folks, this is a great opportunity. And also, if you're interested in putting your shoulder against the wheel that Sister Paula is pushing up the hill here, she's gladly willing to receive you on tomorrow, and you can come by and see how the operation puts on events and how they move and, just meet everybody. And so this is an opportunity to come out and find out more about from widow to winner.org organization.
Absolutely. I always say people do what they inspect, not what they expect. So if you come tomorrow and inspect us and see how we do things, I think that you'll probably say, yes, we need to continue doing this in the community.
Gotcha. Well, we wish you all the best, and please, we stand here ready to help any way we can with your efforts to help these girls and help these kids and plug widows, people who are, again, looking for someone to sow into. They've lost a loved one, and these young ladies really need somebody to, I mean, folks, these kids won't know if we don't tell them. And we're going to our graves, and we're taking all this knowledge of life with us. This is not good. This is not the way God planned this. But go ahead, sister. I'm sorry. All right. Anything else you have for us?
Come on out, please. Come now. We're looking for you tomorrow. Be here at 9:45. We expect to have a great time that you'll be talking about until the next one.
All right. Well, we wish you all the best, and we'll try to poke our head in the door over there tomorrow, so we'll see you on tomorrow, okay?
Okay. Mr. Wade, thank you. Thank you, listeners. I appreciate all of you.
Well, how did it go last night with the Jason's Deli?
So the fundraiser, not a lot of people showed up. They sent me results this morning telling me how much was raised, and we only raised. They said they received $90 in sales, and they gave me 20% of that, which was what, $18. So we'll do better next time.
Well, it's the spirit in which they offered it, and you'll be blessed, and they'll be blessed. So just continue doing what you're doing. That's $18 more than you had. Okay.
Exactly. I agree. And I'm not going to stop doing what God's called me to do because of that.
All right. Well, look, we wish you all the best, Paul.
One more thing, Mr.
Sure.
Wade. We have our volunteers here that are working hard. They want you to hear how excited they are.
Sound like y'all ready over there. That's the kids over there getting ready.
Of how excited they are?
Yes, they sound like it. It sounds like it's going to be an exciting time on tomorrow. We wish you all the best, okay?
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Bass. Okay. That's Ms. Paula Bass from widowtowinner.org. This is an organization that's seeking to help young ladies aging out of the foster care system, having to be out there on their own, working minimum wage or less in some cases, having to foot a apartment, their own housing, transportation, the whole 9 yards. Folks, they just don't have the send-off many of us enjoyed from having received from our parents. So if the Lord lays on your heart that this is an area that you want to sow into, please be obedient. And we want to thank you in advance for anything you want to try to sow in that direction. Thank you so much. Let us take a quick break. The hotline number is 879-0002. EliteRoofer.com has sponsored the hotline. Their number for your first, second, or third estimate is 326-2755, area code 601. All right. Sorry about that, Mobile. We're being harassed because you're on the line, brother. Drop on that knowledge. What's going on, man?
Yeah, that was hit you out of nowhere. One thing, there was a warning.
I mean, you don't even hear it on any other stations but here at WYA. They hate us over there at the EMS, it looks like.
Hey, it's a happy anniversary. Today is the anniversary of the debate that changed America. I did.
Oh, really?
I've seen a couple of outlets talking about that.
What? Which debate?
Trump and Biden.
Oh yeah.
Trump exposed Biden for the brain dead moron. Well, to the media, I guess, because they were the only ones who didn't know Biden was a brain dead moron. Everybody else knew, but I guess the media. Whoa! I didn't realize he was so bad. Yeah, it was kind of obvious there for a long time. Welcome to the rest of the world.
Right. Well, luckily, and you know what? I guess they were being too slick by half. When you're trying to run a country with a committee of knuckleheads and evildoers, you get what we got here, or they got what they got in this case. I don't even know why they forced the issue on them, forcing an early debate. They already knew Joe Biden wasn't up to the task, so why send him out there? I guess they were trying to build a narrative or something. I don't know. Didn't work, obviously, but we benefited from it.
Dump him, obviously. I think it was just dump him. They knew he wasn't going to be able to go the distance, so they had to get rid of him as soon as they could.
Mm-hmm.
But they really made things worse.
It did.
You know,
it really did.
I don't know I could have gotten much worse, but it sure didn't get better. This has been a great week for Donald Trump, though, hasn't it?
Man.
He took out Iran nuclear facility, showed the media for the clowns that they are, and we know with their denial that he actually did it. The anniversary of his debate. The Supreme Court gave with their ruling they gave that all these nationwide injunctions, these courts can't just pass out nationwide injunctions on every freaking thing Trump does.
Right. And, you know, I looked at that 6-3 ruling. Those three and Ketanji Brown, folks, I know you don't want to hear this, but everything they said about DEI, she's making real. And it's unfortunate. We got all these qualified individuals out there, all these sisters out there qualified. They get this knucklehead because they want a certain type of black. And they got it in her. She don't care about right or wrong. She don't care about God, Jesus, or anything. When she said she didn't know what a woman was, that's how committed she was to wrongdoing. And yet all you folks out there trapping like Clint, because this is why I'm so hard on you. I realize you people will lead everybody straight to hell. And you'll do it for a fistful of dollars or less. No, I can read y'all to the ground. I'm not going with y'all. I'm not putting up with you either. So, but no, the dissent by Barrett called Ketanji Brown out by name almost. I mean, it's mind-boggling to me. It really is. But
yeah, they were trying to put the idea forth that a judge in Massachusetts can tell Alabama, a ruling that Alabama would that we have to not follow Trump's immigration laws, because Massachusetts got a case ongoing. So therefore, you're not even able to follow it in Alabama, because we got a case in Massachusetts. So it's going to cover everything. You can't send anybody back anywhere in the country till we get this case in Massachusetts settled. Really? Something he has full authority over the prosecution of illegals in this country.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he was constantly up against. That was just the case, one of the cases. I think it was revolving around the birthright citizenship ruling, his executive order on that.
Right. And it basically says in that, now the merits of that case has not been heard. It has not percolated up through the courts yet. However, the courts are demonstrating their willingness to do it. But I think John Roberts' whole goal is to preserve the illegals in this country. Basically, just make them drag everything out. You're going to have to do everyone individually, you know. And that's their game plan. Now, how they get to that is yet to be determined. If they follow the Constitution, they will never get there.
Right.
But with Ketanji Brown on there and people who think like her, it's not guaranteed that they won't just go out in left field on us.
Yeah, like the case where that judge trying to get Trump to turn a plane around.
Right.
because of a court case in their district. Oh, you can't deport anybody. You got to turn that plane around. Really? Mm-hmm. Where do you get that kind of authority from?
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, okay, the Supreme Court slapped that down. No, you really don't have that kind of authority. Otherwise, that turns you into overseer of the executive branch.
Right.
That's not your role.
Well, again, at every turn, they've showed us that when it comes to their politics, and their allegiance to evil, wrongdoing in the Democrat Party, dude, the rules, the laws, nothing mean anything. If they've got the vote to do it, they'll do it, and they'll say, you just got to live with it. These people are not grounded, and integrity is not weighing them down. They're not being held down by character. So we get what we get.
They also went overseas and got get the European, NATO, some of the NATO allies to finally start paying up, their share of NATO. And we heard one guy call him daddy or something around that nature.
Call me Big Papa, like Biggie Smalls here, Biggie Don.
Yeah, I mean it's just been common sense. All you got, we just haven't had a leader willing to stand up for America in so long. We really forgot what it looks like. And by the way, Trump is supposed to be a lame duck president. When have you ever seen a so-called lame duck president walk like a man to this extent? There's nothing lame about him whatsoever. He's supposed to act like, he may not be kidding about that running for a third term deal. So we better walk with respect with this guy.
Put some respect on his name. They're going to come to realize before but it's the same way as we see our society just collapse before us and everybody trying to pretend that it's not because they've got a financial interest in what's going on right now. They're watching their kids being slaughtered in the streets and slaughtering one another, slaughtering others. And they're not willing to change because adults are getting paid out of this chaos. It's sickening to me, but it is. We are where we are, and it is what it is.
And I heard one commentator say this is probably Trump's best week ever.
Yeah.
The wins are just, but so many wins. Yeah, it is going to turn the best week ever.
Well, we didn't
stop marking and breaking records.
We didn't hear from our boy today after the news came down about the deal made with China. Because somebody was asking about where the deal's at. Where the deal's at? I believe it was Barbara Mike. Barbara Mike must be on vacation because he sure didn't respond. And, of course, we didn't hear back from Here's the Thing John after he tried to tell us that the bombing didn't do anything to the nuclear facilities of any consequence and yada, yada, yada. And now they all back up on their heels. Folks, why don't you just, look, if nothing else, why don't you just be quiet? You see the man is on a streak. He's got the favor.
Let it prove true. Let it prove true or not true before you make a comment.
Yeah, but they're hoping so bad that this man will fail and the country will fail. They can't contain themselves. That's why I said, no, I'm clear-eyed on who these people are and what I'm seeing coming out of them and what I'm seeing coming from over there. And I act accordingly. I don't put up with their crap. They're not going to sway me in or pull me in with this, well, aren't you supposed to be a Christian stuff? Whether I am or not, they ain't got nothing to do with this situation here. You're in the danger zone, home. You're about to cross the line and you ain't going to be able to get back from. So.
Well, actually, I've definitely put a few of them on blast, including a couple reported from Fox News on blast. Hey, I'm talking about you, too. Belittling the accomplishment, because you hate Trump so much, belittling the accomplishment of the people who actually pulled off executed the plan.
Right.
Trump was the one flying the plane. He didn't drop the bombs. All he did was order. And because you hate him so much, you're going to act like these folks just wasted their time. They didn't do anything. It was just a bunch of wasting their time flying over there. They were just a big bunch of failures. Okay, you're right, no.
But yet they think everything Joe Biden did was just, oh, man, he hit another home run. And the country's worse off. Trump is up there fixing all these. Man, I tell you what, I love the guy. I love his energy. I love his dedication to his craft, to the country. Yep. The guy's just, look, he's upright as far as I'm concerned. I mean, look, Don, do whatever you need to do. You have my full authority to do whatever you need to do. Crackheads, do whatever you need to do. I ain't got no problem with that. Bomb them.
And you got another meme about it. Some of the memes is ridiculous, but now the latest one is, and they don't know what the hell they're doing. I'm seeing that on so much stuff now.
Oh, man. He's the gift that keeps on giving. All right, brother, we're up against a hard break. We'll be right back. All right, folks, we're back. And it is Friday. The Gun and Knife Club begins in earnest in another hour and 17 minutes. Be ye ready. Keep your head on swivel. hand locked and loaded on the old trusty firearm, what I call the 13th apostle, your witnessing tool. Because when you hear that the exhortation or the motivational statement, hand over your wallet, hands up, well, you know what to do. Fire. Center mass, baby. And we don't do warning shots in Jackson. Okay? Because ammo can't be that high the way they shooting bullets, way they be shooting guns in Jackson. Oh, speaking of that, folks, I actually heard the sirens the other morning. It must have been where the young lady got shot there at the gas station. And I said, man, that's a lot of sirens. And it seemed like there's about two sets of sirens going on, police sirens and fire trucks or whatever headed there. And it seemed like 5 or 10 minutes apart. But I do remember that. I didn't know what was going on. I just heard it because it was so loud. I mean, you hear it for blocks and blocks and blocks when they're running up and down the streets with the sirens on. But the shooting of man, just here lately, there's been a lot of women females being killed. There's a lot of death, folks. This is a spiritual stronghold that we're experiencing. Folks, I don't understand why the ministers are not picking up on this. There's something wrong in our society. Evil is moving in the land. That requires us to do something. It's like jujitsu. It's like judo. It's like wrestling. When the person that you're wrestling and tussling with moves, you're going to be making some adjustments, and vice versa. We're not doing that. We're not moving and adjusting accordingly. We can't pivot. There seems to be, we have lead in our feet. Now, with the shooting there at McDonald's there in Brandon last week before last, the shooting down on Sidewell Road with the young lady, and then the shooting here, and then the death of the young lady in the car accident. Dude, there's a death pall over us. And because there's so many people, I hate to ascribe this to them, but from where my vantage point on the totem pole, it seems like people just consume with stuff, material things. They don't have time to stop and pause and say, well, wait a minute. If we do this, this is going to affect negatively our society, our community, my family. They don't seem to care anymore. And people are just running headlong into hell and hellish situations, and they won't take any counsel. Now, the young man that shot the lady in the head, and then the young man that killed himself after he shot the lady there in the head out there in Brandon, do you see why I'm adamant about this whole educational component about economic development, if so-called economic, because it is not economic development if you don't have the kids included in their future. Cut the crap, okay? You're just trying to get your hustle on. Stop it. Now, I don't have any problems you getting your hustle on, but quit pretending that you're doing this for anybody other than yourself. And you may employ people and they may take care of their families, and God bless you. We need more of that. But let us not get it twisted. Our kids, and all you folks out there been telling us this all that I'm sick of hearing it, to be quite honest with you. The kids are our future. It takes a village to raise the kid. And then when it comes down to brass tacks, we all break down what's in it for me. What's in it for me? And ain't nothing wrong with looking out for number one, because I do. But I'm also sensitive. I got one eye towards the future, saying, nah, how will this affect my progeny? But we're not seeing that. And I'm going to have to be a broken record on this, guys. Because that young man that shot that girl out at McDonald's, and then the one that shot this girl here on the north side, folks, our kids, particularly our males, we have problems. We're emotionally immature. We're not growing up. So where were we learning this at beforehand? We were learning it at the dinner table, at Sunday school, at church. I remember in my hometown, Decatur, I don't know what, I think it was Kojic, Church of Christ Holiness type church. It may not have been, I don't know. All I know is that they were in church 7 days a week. This was before air conditioning. I remember us going by there, and the windows would be up on this church, and they'd be in there singing and praising and having a good time. And I saw a couple of my classmates, they obviously family went to those churches and stuff like that. But people spent time, man. And now, the reason why our kids are so emotionally immature, just look at the black women on. If the video's on YouTube or anything, any indication, dude, we have problems. And now you got men. Dude, please stop. Stop the cap. This is why we could do. Listen, if we can take all this school time during the day and spend it on LGBT crap, why? If black folks are so concerned, why can't we demand at that time that we were spending on that gay crap be spent on these kids learning how to interact and work with one another? They just telling you, no, you got to like the weirdos. No, homie. No. But that's where black leadership has failed us. They have no intentions of solving our problems, bro. You can pretend if you want to. It's only going to get worse, and you can write that in blood. You people are selfish. You're selfish old black men and women who won't look out for the kids. All you want is one more plaque, one more certificate, one more line dance, one more soiree, one more banquet. All they're looking for something is somewhere to go. They can put on a tuxedo and go down there and look important. Ain't got nothing for the kids. When they get done with John Horn's inauguration, remember, the kids ain't got nothing coming from them. Nothing. And all the important, as the late Lonnie Marshall say, some of the most important, unimportant Negroes in the state going to be down at that convention center next week. And the kids going to still be screwed 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Black people who run our government are unserious about our future. Benny Thompson, Derrick Johnson, John Horn, Kim Wade, and all the rest of us. We ain't doing it, dog. We're not getting the job done. We have failed. We're going to take a break. When we come back, here's the thing, John. All right, folks, we got Here's the Thing, John. All right, John, what psychobabble do you have for us today, sir?
Mr. Wade, I must congratulate.
Thank you.
Let me tell you, I must congratulate him on the Supreme Court decision about the lower courts enacting these nationwide injunctions. Now, do you know why I'm happy he prevailed?
Because he was always going to prevail, sir.
No, let me tell you why I'm so happy. Because Democratic presidents as well as Republican presidents have complained about these lower courts enacting these federal injunctions and putting a stranglehold on their executive orders. So all he did was basically say, I'm going to clear the way so when the Dems are in charge, when the Republican attorneys generals want to sue and bring these frivolous lawsuits and these lower court judges will enact these injunctions, guess what? We don't have to worry about that anymore. So we can really be buck wild with our policies when we get into power. So I must thank him for that. That I must thank him for. See, I don't think you guys were thinking that, the Democrats are going to be in charge at some point. Here we go. Next point. Iran. I'm going to say this one time.
Is this an apology? Are you bending the knee, sir? Bow down, fool.
I thought it was very disingenuous for the president and the Secretary of Defense to try to wrap themselves in the cloak of the soldiers to try to protect themselves or deflect any criticism by saying, oh, we're demeaning the soldiers. No. We need a bomb damage assessment. There's nothing wrong with looking at an after action and saying, okay, did we hit our mark, but how much damage did we do? That does not demean the soldiers. That is way above the soldiers and these airmen's heads, sir. This is
in other words, you really don't understand what is wrong with what that reporter attempted to do you? You have no clue, sir.
That reporter did nothing wrong. There's nothing
She
wrong
reported untruth, sir. Known lies, sir. Now CNN was saying, yeah, we knew that report had been deemed of low value or least likely to be the case or something to that effect. They knew that, but they didn't lead with that, John.
Yeah,
These people are too much like you, and you're too much like them, sir. And we find that very disappointing.
Here's the problem. We still don't know where the uranium is, sir.
Sir,
where is the uranium?
It's at the bottom of 400 feet of mountain, sir. Why don't you take your happy butt over there and dig until you get happy?
Well, ask Israel why they're still concerned that they didn't finish the job, because if
who said? Now wait a minute. Who said that? You say that? See, you're making a lot of assertions with no receipts, sir. You just run it off at your mouth. What do you think? You're a talk show host? What?
Now, let me ask you a question. Why would President Trump want to make a deal with Iran if they're this state sponsor of terrorism and we don't know where the uranium is? And number three, Israel didn't finish the job, and they know they didn't finish the job, but he made Israel stop. Because Israel says we got to get in there and really see what's going on the ground to see where this stuff is.
Sir, wait a minute. You're taking a lot of responsibilities upon yourself, okay? Why don't you just preface what you're saying with, I am of the opinion, because you're trying to speak authoritatively and you have no authority, sir. I have not granted you any. You haven't brought any with you. So I'm going to need you to preface your comments. Well, here's the thing John thinks about this situation.
Now let me clarify. Let me clarify one more point. And you were talking about the violence, domestic violence, men killing women, shooting them in the head, and things of that nature. Now, I'm going to say this to you, Mr. Wade. The reason our young men are the way they are, it's not the educational system, Mr. Wade. It is
John,
men like me. Listen now.
I never said it was the educational system, sir.
Yeah.
But go ahead and finish your psychobabble.
It is men not being in our young men's lives and teaching them how to be a man, how to walk God.
And who do we have to thank for that, John? Who do we have to thank for that? Democrats and Democrat heads. People like yourself, sir.
Let me tell you a secret, sir. We are all free moral agents.
No, we're not. No, we're not. No, black Democrats do not have agency anymore. They belong to the Democrat Party. They do not listen to anybody other than Democrats, and they're going to hell if they don't change course. Gotta go. All right, folks, we're back. It is Friday. Glad to be back here in the studio, and it's your host, the Radio Strongman. And we're here cheering on the Trump administration as they continue to rack up the W's. You need a consonant? Oh boy, they got them in supply there at the White House. We want to thank President Trump for doing what he's doing, just maintaining. And I think you guys are you're strengthening President Trump. The more opposition he gets, the stronger he gets. And of course, he's being lifted up in our prayers. He's been prayed for. And this is why I said just this week, President Trump, you know what? I guess this just gives him an opportunity to see the landscape, to kind of get an idea who can be dependent on and who can't. I just want to remind all you folks who is ready to throw President Trump under the bus. He's getting us into a war. Oh, my God. I ain't going to deal with Trump anymore. But now, having said that to you, now I'm not with President Trump. I understand that there's been a super PAC formed to fund a primary opponent against Tom Massey there in Kentucky. Now, Massey is he's the gold standard of patriots. I can't go with you on that, Trump. I'm sorry. You my dog, but no. We're not going to turn on Mr. Massey, Congressman Massey, and we're not going to turn him out of office. So if I got to send a contribution up there to his campaign to help him out, I'll do it. But now, like I said before, I'm giving Trump a pass on everything else. He can do whatever he needs to do, but I'm not going to go with him on that. And I'm not going to go with Marjorie Taylor Greene being upset with Trump. Look, have your disagreements, because in life you're going to have those. But let us keep the big picture in mind. The big picture is saving our country. I got a clip here I want to play for you. Before we get to it, the hotline number is brought to you by EliteRoofer.com. Their number is 326-2755. area code 601. You folks down there in Simpson County, you got storms coming your way. If you have roof damage, keep this number handy. 326-2755, area code 601. Now, Tom Smith Land and Homes, they got an open house coming up here this weekend. You need to be there if you're in Warren County. They got 28 acres with a home on it in Warren County at 768 Lake Boulevard in Vicksburg, Mississippi. The open house is going to be this Sunday. Let's see. Let me tell you a little bit about it. The land features 20 acres of hardwoods, an established trail system, multiple food plots, 2 live creeks, a half-acre pond, over 3 acres of fenced pasture, a large cypress barn and 2 storage sheds, a 4-wheel drive Kubota tractor, and a 10K generator with a transfer box, all included with the property. The house is a 3,082 square foot, 4-bedroom, 3-bath home, features a new roof, new hot water heaters, 2 of them. And, folks, this thing with the 2 creeks on it, man, you need to check that out. You need some property that got some water running through it. Now, when we were out there in Texas for Memorial Day, we went over to Burger Lake. And I had never heard of it. The girls took us over there. Well, we went there. And it's like a picnic park, but it's got a lake that's being fed by a stream. And it's been around for almost 100 years, about 96 years. Man, don't people raking in the paper. They making some, because they had to be 1,000 people out there the day that we were there. And it's $20 to get in for everybody. It ain't $20 a car, $20 a head. They killing them. They got sand around the little creek area, the little lake area. They got a diving board that's over 20 feet high, diving into 12 feet of water, I believe it was. And then they got your wading part to it. But it's just a good concept. And, man, after they pay for those slides and things like that, baby, they don't have any overhead other than the cost of labor, lights, security. And that, baby, it's straight cash. It's straight profits over there. So if you got a creek running through, you need to look it up. Look at Burger Lake on YouTube, and just, man, this is a good idea. Since they did away with Rappers on the Reservoir, and you got to go all the way up to Neshoba County to enjoy some good recreation like that here. I guess you go down to Simpson County or wherever that is down there, McGee. No, it's not McGee. Where is it? Collins. But it is a great deal. And this is why I said, take a look at this property. They got an open house this weekend. And who's the listing agent on this? That is going to buy. That's, again, that address is 768 Lake Boulevard in Vicksburg. And you can pull that up on your browser. Just type in 768 Lake Boulevard and you can get a good look at it. Or go to TomSmithLandandHomes.com. Click on Warren County. You can see more information. This is listed by Dave Wilds. He's over there, retired military guy over there in Vicksburg. And you can reach Dave by calling 601-898-2772. So let's try to make it over there. This is going to be on the 28th. So if you can make it over there, I'd encourage you. It's only $765,000 on this property. That's a good deal. The home is beautiful. It's just beautiful. Let's see. We got another one here I want to tell you about before we get out of here. Now, if you're looking for some lots on some waterfront lots, well, Tom Smith Land and Home has 2 of them. One is with Walker Trainum has it listed, and this is going to be Humphreys, just short of a acre there in Humphreys Cove in the neighborhood. What area is this here? This is in Clay County. So if you're looking for some lakefront property in Clay County, they got this here. It's only $35,000 on Humphreys Cove. So if you know where Humphreys Cove is, you're from Clay County, you might want to give Walker a call. He can hook you up on that. $35,000 and you're in Lake Flint. That's a big lake, too. And then we got one more here we want to tell you about, if you would be so kind and bear with a brother. And that is going to be right here. TomSmithLandandHomes.com is where you can get all this. They got a lot in Highland Plantation subdivision and over there in Oktibbeha County for only $25,000. That's lake frontage, too. You can't get any better than that, bro. And this is listed by who? Oh, Walker Trainum again. This boy's hot on the trail over there. Tom Smith Land and Homes. We encourage you to, when you're looking for land, you're looking for forestry land, pasture land, cattle land, any kind of land, or if you're trying to sell, You need to go with the one who has every designation you can think of. And they can tell you how to properly sell that land and keep yourself within the four corners of the law. Because you just can't just tell them, oh, yeah, you can do this, you can do that, and when they can't do it. And that's where their agents distinguish themselves from many other agents out there. Tom insists, and you can be assured that all his agents have been trained, and they also have the benefit of the years of experience that Tom is bringing to the table, along with his lovely bride, Ellen. Folks, they close in 1.5 deals a day, 365 days a year. Now, how are you going to tell me they ain't doing something right? They can do it right for you. TomSmithLandandHomes.com. All right, folks. We got to make that money. We're capitalists over here. A couple things we want to talk about. Are we going to deal, and I'm going to say this one more time, do we intend to deal with the problems with our kids? I'm talking to the black community. It applies to all communities because all these kids are running amok. This social media generation, these people don't have the attention span because of, folks, that's the whole purpose of the Facebook Reels and the TikTok Reels, is to get you where you just cannot concentrate. They're working a plan. And as they build the data centers, think about it. Every time you try to sign on to a site, do you want to sign on with your Google? You want to sign on with your Facebook? You want to sign on with your TikTok? You know why they're doing that? Because they can track you. They can coordinate you on every area of your life. I just don't, no, I'm not clicking on that. Because, you didn't always have to do that. Why are they doing that? Because they're building the data centers. The data centers are guard towers, folks. And this is why you folks who are homeschooling your kids, you folks who are rearing your kids right in admonition of the Lord and fear of the Lord, you're doing the right thing, but your kids are going to be in some challenging times because they're going to be in a world full of knuckleheads. People don't know nothing about nothing. They haven't been trained. They have no emotional maturity. They're hard to be around. You can't talk to them. You can't reason with them. Data and facts means nothing to them. All they want is stuff. They live a hand-to-mouth existence. They can only deal with things that are right in front of them immediately. They're serial thinkers. They can only deal with what's in front of them right then. They can't see, okay, if I do this here, what's going to happen down the road when I want to do something else? They don't have that capacity anymore. That's why that group that Miss Paula Bass has, from widow to winner, is so important in what they do in terms of, folks, I know you think about it. You lived a life. You got a skill set that you would really like to train somebody on if they wanted to learn. These kids don't want to learn. That's why when somebody tell me that we need more vocational schools, folks, we got the schools. The schools aren't the problem. Unless you just want to put a school, well, we got a child standing over here on this corner here, and they're not willing to go all the way up to Homes. So you need to build a training center right there with that child. No, we're not doing that. So that's the problem now. And these kids have too many options. Back when we were coming along, when our parents was coming along, baby, you had a few shots. If you got on somewhere, you worked till they ran you off that job. But now they'll walk off a job and ain't got nothing else planned but going home to you, daddy. No. You're going to walk it out, baby. So do we intend to get our kids under control? I submit to you that under John Horn and this administration, it's not going to happen in Jackson. And remember, it doesn't cost anything. Don't you know, if black people were serious, and we're not, about our kids getting an education, if we demanded that the first 7 or 8 years be spent towards teaching these kids reading, writing, arithmetic, the time that we spent teaching these kids on how to put a condom on a cucumber, or how to explain to them why Johnny has 2 daddies and 2 mommies, or whatever the case may be. Well, if they got baby mamas, I guess it's a different thing. But the point is, if black people insisted that we change the curriculum, they do it. But black people are only going to insist on things that's going to benefit the Democrat Party. We don't look out for our kids. And the sad part about it, we're getting notorious about our indifference. As I told you yesterday, for the life of me, I can't imagine a Mary McLeod Bethune meeting with the President of the United States and not bringing up the plight of those kids down there at Florida A&M. I can't believe it. But now black leaders today, they do it all. Do you know when Barack Obama his first term, when he got in there, one of his first acts he did, the city of D.C. they had a program over there where they provided scholarship. The city Washington, D.C., provided scholarship to D.C. kids to go to the Tide Sidwell School, which is the school where the president sent their kids to. Barack Obama sent his kids there because he came into office in January, so they were there from January to that second semester. So they were bringing kids from the school to come, spend the night, sleepovers. You know how girls had their sleepovers. Do you realize and do you know that Barack Obama, he pulled those scholarships from those girls that were going to school with his daughters? They didn't have the money to be there now, but they had the scholarships. He pulled those scholarships. Those kids were put out and put in public schools while Barack Obama's kids went to them private schools. A black man. I keep telling you, when you step to me with the black crap, bro, I'm going to step on the tip of your toe. I'm not buying your crap. You don't mean it. There's no evidence of it. We got 40 years of you working your dope boy magic, and ain't no proof of it. Derek Johnson can't show me. Ben Jealous can't show me. Benny Thompson can't show me. You can't show me. There's no evidence. And then you want to sit out here and act like you so concerned about why these kids are killing themselves. You know what you did? You let the schools quit teaching those fundamentals that allow a child to operate in society without being a bull in a China in a China store. And you know what you did? Those skills that they were learning in school about how to interact with one another and not be so confrontational and violent and yada, yada, yada. Now, the government, this same devils, these white devils in the government, rather than letting the kids get that information in school that had worked so well for us all down through the years, now they'll give a grown person a grant to teach that child the same thing, the same stuff that Sister Johnson is teaching for $20 an hour right now. Black folks won't speak up. No, I'm done with that crap. I'm calling you out. I'm getting in your face. I'm a squad of one. I ain't backing down. You will back down before I will. You can write that in blood. So, you see how this is working now? Now you see why the 501c3s have proliferated over the last 20 years? Because the devil is taking that money that was used to teach our kids societal norms, and now they're teaching them gay crap. Black man brought that to you. All that stuff that Diddy's going through, black man put him through that. Do you realize that? That was a black attorney general that put together that case against Diddy. And all this is a bunch of Negroes screwing. Man, please. And black folks are participating in their own destruction, from the immigration to the destruction of all these wealthy black men and women who for the most part ain't been doing a whole lot. But the point is, why are you participating in their destruction? And folks just out there clapping. Yeah, I'm glad he getting what he getting. He may have done all that stuff. But over some screwing? What do you think black people be doing? What do you think they went after Clarence Thomas with? Some sex stuff, because that's what they do to black folks. And now black folks are participating. I'm telling you, it's black Democrats that's the biggest threat to black people. It ain't them criminals. Well, they are the criminals, because we Democrats and criminals is synonymous. But they're the ones that's causing us our problem. The Benny Thompsons, the Derek Johnsons, the indifference, the criminality, and the fact that they won't look out for our babies. I'm going to get in your grill. I ain't backing down, and you ain't getting away. Let's take a break. All right, folks, so we're back. Hey, we got a couple of things. There's a play coming up. I think it's going to be at Raymond. Adrian Stuckey out there. A Slay. She's got some. This woman she's phenomenal. This woman's got a lot going on. I just like her hustle, like her grind, and we'll be having her on at some point here. She had me on her show, and I want to try to reciprocate and help her pull over her program. She's got putting together a studio. She does advertising and all that. But we're going to let her come in here and just talk about all the things that she does. And so you can become familiar with her and check out some of her offerings. And I like her grind, like her hustle. And hat tip to her. Keep doing what you're doing, girl. All right, couple things, folks. President Trump got a win from the Supreme Court today, saying that the nationwide injunctions by all these district judges Folks, look how willing they were. Look how willing they were to break the law. Oh, Trump's trying to break the law, and they're breaking. So you don't get and to Trump's credit, that's not what Trump does. Everybody talking about how illegal he's operating. Trump is the only one since he came down that escalator. He is the only one that has followed the law. He's the only one who has submitted himself to the courts and to the kangaroo courts, if you will, that were trying to jail him, take his family, his fortune, and everything else. He's the only one. So every time you say that, son, that's a lie that's going to be tacked onto your account. And it's all because you want the man to fail, which is fine if that's what. But dude, that's just like wanting the pilot of the plane that you're on to fail. Folks, I'm just telling you, there's something wrong with these people. And I think, in my estimation, from where I'm sitting, it seems to be that everybody thinks it's so cool to continue to extend. What is it? You got to forgive somebody 777 times? No. Nah. You got me on that one, Lord. They got one time. Oh, it's on after that. Kim, I thought you, look, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. It's a task. They're trying to keep it on the straight and narrow. That's why I keep saying, look, Lord, I can't tell you it's going to get any better in terms of my behavior. I ain't going to lie. I've been knowing me for a long time, and you've been knowing me since inception. It's not my desire to do wrong, but, Lord, some of your peeps, I'm just saying, especially those melanated ones, Lord Jesus. And then you got them coming single file towards me. Every time I turn around, I think I'm on a set of a Tarzan movie. There's a zillion of these people around here, and they all acting the fool. I'm not putting up with it. I'm the renegade. I'm the maverick. I'm going to take some arrow. I'm going to shoot some. I just think it's time to put these people back up on their heels. So Trump got the win that he needs. Now we're going to see if he gets the win on birthright citizenship. Baby, it's on. There's going to be a whole lot of folks got to get their hat. Now, he's telling you now, if you leave now, and then you can go back to your country and apply, you'll be in a better position to come in now. You've demonstrated that you're a good worker. You keep your nose clean and everything else. But if you want to just wait till they catch me, okay, you can't come back then. Trump has been the most fairest president to the people who dislike him and hate him. He's more kind to him than I would have been. Because I'm not above cracking it down to the white meat. I am not trying to be, oh, he is so nice and sweet. No, I don't want that. If you stand over my casket on doing my eulogy saying that about you, lying. Don't stand up there and lie. Say Kim was a butthead. He was hard to live with. But my kids are good. And my grandkids are good. I'm not going to sacrifice them so you think that I'm a nice guy. Screw that. Screw you. So I'm just telling you, there is a line with me. And well, Kim, you always talking about people, they don't really love the Lord. You don't sound like you love, I love the Lord. I just got to deal with y'all. And I will turn the other cheek if that will stop you and change your behavior, change your actions towards me. But if it doesn't, bro, that's why I keep the 13th apostle. If I got the witness to you, I got 17 witnesses. Send a mass. Who do we have? Steve. Stevie B, what's up, buddy?
Stevie B. Hey, Kim Lloyd.
What's up?
Kim, I'd like to give a shout out to the president.
Yes, sir.
Today on this SCOTUS ruling. And we both know that time has a value. Mm-hmm. Money. Try to rent something. They want it by the month. They want payment by the month.
True.
Try to borrow something. They want their money back over time. So time has a value. And what the inside ball sees in this discovery today, in this ruling, is that because President Trump and his legal team split the two issues. There's two issues.
Okay.
One, they did not decide. The birthright citizenship is still up for grabs.
That's right. That is correct.
But that's true. But, I mean, he's got as good a shot as anybody. But the large issue, the more wide-ranging, tactical, if you will, a strategic move, he leveraged the factor to his advantage. And let me explain how that
Well,
is.
hold on, Steve. Steve, hold on. Repeat that last sentence because you wobbled out on us on it. You repeat that.
I'm sorry. There is a time value, a dollar value that you can place on time in this situation. If you get to stop President Trump's actions until it gives a decision that can be appealed through the courts, it may be 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And Trump is stopped and stymied for that period of time.
Right. Which is
however, this court ruling, no. It's not his trouble to get to the end of the trail. It's your trouble. The President Trump's action can continue, and if you still have a beef, then you stay with the federal courts for the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Spend the money, try to keep interest up, and by the time the inside ball will tell you, by the time they get there, everybody will have forgotten it, and President Trump's executive orders will have worked. Everybody will be happy, and all this was a tempest in a teapot.
Well, and then you mentioned about having split the two issues. The court split the two issues. There's a third issue, and that's regarding counting illegals during the census. If he wins that along with birthright, oh, baby, America will be coming back. If we get J.D. Vance in at the end of Trump and he continues 8 years of the same type of policies, America will be back. And all you haters, you're just going to have to live with good government. That's what you're going to have to do.
Well, I see a very savvy, this splitting the issues, the constitutional issue and the procedural issue.
Right.
Any lawyer will tell you, procedure is where so many are won or lost. And when he split it up, out the time factor in the appellate at well, let me say this: if you've got to wait 5 years to get your project started, you will have forgotten what it was by the time you get there.
That is true. And President Trump, and this is why I think a lot of their approach after sitting out for 4 years and after he got with Elon, in many cases, they ran all these different scenarios through their AI type computers or whatever, and they got all the permutations. Because, I mean, they are airtight on all these different topics and issues, man. I'm talking about worldwide. If they're dealing with the country of Suriname or whatever, they already know what they need to do over there. I mean, this guy's, he's in a league of his own zip code.
Well, let me say this. He has good instincts.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
He knows the American people.
That's right.
And he knows, well, let me say this. He's seen the other side before.
Matter of fact, to that.
He was one of those guys. So when he runs up against them, he knows what he's dealing with now.
He knows exactly what he's dealing with. You're absolutely right, my brother. Look, we're up against a break, Steve. Good info.
See you later.
Thank
Bye.
you, man. All right, folks, we're back. I'm going to play folks, we got a blast from our past. You got me stammering around here like Fred Sanford. This is the big one. This is the big one, Elizabeth. I'm coming to join you. Yeshua. Folks, Yeshua was my very first caller when I got into radio 35 years ago. The very first caller. What's up, man? I thought you were dead or jail. How you been, man?
Yeah. Life, man, just life.
Good to hear you sounding good.
But I listen to you, man, but, I'm going to let y'all deal with that crazy politics. But I got to comment on this stupid decision that the Supreme Court made today.
What? I want to hear this.
Trump didn't win anything. Every president since Reagan, Obama, and Biden have filed with this nationwide injunction on their policies.
Mm-hmm.
It's no win. Now, I saw the press conference. It was a joke. A 7th grader in civic class knows that it would take an act of Congress to amend the Constitution. Donald Trump is an immigrant's son. His daddy was an anchor baby. His wife came here illegally. Their son is an anchor baby.
No,
you cannot.
Come on, you stretching it. Okay, go ahead.
Wait a minute. But you cannot do away with birthright citizenship.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
He's getting ready to do. He did it with an executive order. They just need to obey, bro.
He didn't do it. All he did was forcing people to go to court because their constitutional rights will be violated if he tried to deport any baby that was born in this country. And he said today, the 14th Amendment was for the slaves.
It was?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, sure.
The 14th Amendment was enacted to validate the citizenship of any non-white person that's born in this country. Because back then,
is that what the Constitution actually says?
Yes.
The 14th Amendment actually says that.
Yes, the 14th Amendment, it validates.
Let me pull it up here, sir. Let me pull it.
It validates who's a citizen, and he's trying to do. Let me give you a little history,
please.
He's trying to
truth
do
too. Facts are
what the white people tried to do. In 1898, it was the Chinese.
Yep.
They tried to take away his citizenship because his parents wasn't citizens, but he was born here.
No. But go ahead. I'll let you explain, then I will bring the actual truth. But go ahead.
So the same thing Trump trying to do now is to stop non-white people from becoming citizens in an easy way. And this is the identical same thing they tried in 1897.
No, not even close.
Wait a minute. This is the identical same thing they did. Now, you remember the Dred Scott decision. You know what that decision was? The Supreme Court, a group of white men, you know what that decision was?
No, go ahead.
All right. The decision was no non-white person would be a citizen of the United States.
Okay.
But Dred Scott, they said no African, but it applied to every non-white person. The Dred Scott decision said no African, whether you free, whether you fought in the Revolutionary War, will be an American citizen. All right? White men said that, the Supreme Court. You got the identical same thing now. A group of white men sitting on the Supreme Court playing with democracy. They cannot, the Supreme Court cannot.
Yes, they can.
Amend the Constitution.
Yes, they can. They're going to.
That takes the states and that takes the country. The Congress. It's a joke.
No, it's not, sir.
People, this whole thing is a joke, man.
Look, first of all, if you worried about you getting deported, because I don't think you're fully Americanized. You may have been here a long time, but I think you're from Jamaica somewhere, aren't you? You could very well be on the chopping block, bro.
Look here, let me tell you something, man. No, seriously.
That's an inside joke between me and your show.
I'm an American, but I have to admit, my ancestry is indigenous, white, and African. You can't get no American than me.
Oh, no.
Don't think that these fools, the Senate, the all-white Republican Senate, They know that you cannot strip nobody of their birthright citizenship. It will take an act of Congress to do that. The Supreme Court can't do it. Executive order can't do it. Congress has to do it. Why are you people letting these people make fools out of y'all? It's a clown show. It's a puppet show.
Sir.
This is ridiculous.
All that may be true. I'm just telling you folks, get your bags packed or you're gonna go there with what you got on your back. Don't listen to Yahshua. Y'all going home. Okay?
I admit, the only win he got is that he know these people can't hire a lawyer to say that their constitutional rights are being violated.
Listen, get your stuff, get your little knapsack, or you can come live with Yahshua. He got in the state up here.
Let me tell you what we did today.
What?
You know, it was this 30-day had this 30-day window, right?
Right.
Before the Supreme Court order going into effect. Man, we had already filed a class action suit.
It ain't going nowhere. Look, they already filed the suit. That's how they got up before the Supreme Court.
Wait.
Look, bro, y'all got to go, man. Get your people. Get your stuff.
All right, man. Hey, congratulations on your loss for mayor.
Yeah. And look, you know what? Actually, the city lost. I won.
The city lost.
Yeah, I won.
You're right, bro. The city lost.
Well, look, now, wait a minute. Now, I want you to think about something. What were we trying to accomplish? I mean, you just wanted a personality in there, or did you want? And see, this is the reason why we're not fixing anything. You just want somebody.
I live in Madison.
I
live in Madison.
I understand.
I
know.
Jackson
Listen.
30 years ago.
Listen. I know where you live. I understand that. But my point is this here. You want a personality. You don't want results. You don't want things that work. This is what God is in. And if that's what you want, bro, you got it.
Why do you think
I'm telling you,
in Madison?
Huh?
Why do you think I live in Madison, Kim? I'm a graduate of Linear High School.
No. You live in Madison
But
now.
I
You
will
told
not
me
live in Jackson.
you have land out here in Madison. I didn't say the city of Madison. I meant the county of Madison. I don't know where in the county you live in the county. You were living there when you first started calling in. At least you said you did.
Yeah, but I was born and raised in Jackson.
Yeah. Well, that could explain why the crime has gone down because you finally got you out of there. All right, Yahshua. Good talking with you, man. All right, brother. Yeah, that's Yahshua. We go back. We really do. And the bottom line is this here. You're subject to the jurisdiction of Venezuela or wherever else you came from. You don't have paperwork here, then you're not subject to this jurisdiction. You just broke in. Now, liberals and others have been allowing you folks to stretch this. And the case he's talking about with the Asian guy back in the 1900s, that guy was here on vacation and the child was born while they were here, while the couple was here on vacation. Okay? And they try to stretch it and say, and as a matter of fact, I don't even know if it actually got adjudicated. I know it got filed. I don't know if it actually got adjudicated. The bottom line is y'all need to have your bags packed. You got to go. Okay? You come back in legally, we ain't got no problems. Man, I would love for our Hispanic friends to be able to stay because they're some hard workers. And they're willing to work. And they're good family people. And they actually, I think they add value to the neighborhood. Matter of fact, I'd like to trade out one American, one American. Matter of fact, we'll give you 2 Americans for 1 Hispanic. And if they happen to be melanated Americans, you get a handful. You get a baker's dozen. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
All aboard! All aboard!
All right, the final few minutes of the Kim Wade Show. We got Lewis on the line. Louie, what's up?
Hey, Kim.
How you doing?
I wanted to let you know that we've heard this forever, that immigration is what made this country great.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to look at it from the point of view, tell that to the American Indians. It didn't make them great. And now the Democrats have a different, they doubled down with that statement, immigration made us great throughout, especially Biden's term. But they look at it from the point, well, it worked for the Indians, maybe it'll work for the Patriots. Let's bring all these immigrants in and destroy the Patriots and replace them with the immigrants,
Yep.
the illegals.
That was their plan. And Trump broke it up at the door. Now, what Trump should do while the courts are doing all their kabuki dancing, he ought to, and since the time that they've been spending in schools on LGBT crap, teach civics again. And matter of fact, make all the illegals who are here take those courses that the people who come to this country legally and go through the process have to do. Because everybody that I know that have gone through that process, those are solid Americans, baby. Those are solid. You want them in your foxhole. Yeah.
You're right.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Jerry. Hey, Jerry. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Kim, how you doing, man? Oh, yeah. What that guy was talking about, back then, blacks, I think, was considered as 1/5 of a man. So they hijacked that thing just like the gays and lesbians hijacked a civil rights movement. Civil rights had nothing to do with gay and lesbian, but they hijacked that platform and used it.
That's right.
The same way they're using that law to get birthright DACAs. That was for slaves that had babies so they could become natural citizens, because back then they didn't migrate here. They was bought and sold as property, so that gave them their rights that the South is still trying to keep from them.
Right.
So I don't know what that guy's talking about with the history he's trying to say. But it's been hijacked just like a lot of other things. They've used it to their advantage, which is against the country's advantage.
You're right. Good assessment. Good assessment. Hey, I appreciate that, Jerry. Folks, at the end of the day, folks, as a matter of fact, let me just play this clip right quick. I think we can get it in here. Oh, man. Who did I send it to? Yeah. Here it is. Listen here, folks. Listen to this guy. Come on. We'll play it until we run out here. And, folks, I'm going to update you on Monday on my energy patch that I've been wearing. Dude, I'm telling you, I am getting results.
What I think about Trump, people ask me all the time, hey, what do you really think about Trump? Well, here's my truth, the way that I see it. Trump isn't trying to burn down the entire global system.
We're going to play it till the music plays.
He's trying to reposition America inside the system to protect it as the global order falls apart. At his core, Trump is a nationalist. He believes in sovereignty and strength and in putting America first. But he's not reckless. He knows you can't just pull the plug on institutions like the Federal Reserve, NATO, or global trade overnight without triggering a collapse that would also take America down with it. So instead of trying to smash the system all at once, he sort of bends it. He forces it to reveal its cracks on its own. Sometimes he makes tactical concessions. He plays along with the parts of the machine because survival is the first priority, right?
We're out.